going on? We got an awesome guest today, one of my friends. We probably met 12, 15 years ago, I think.
On Tinder.
Yeah, on Tinder. On ArabianMatch.com.
Oh!
And, I remember Chris Bell introducing me to you at Gold's, and I had just broke a world record, and they said, this is the strongest guy we got at Gold's Gym. And I saw you, and I was like, he's a big motherfucker. I was thinking, I wonder how strong he really is, though. And I didn't know. I saw you posting stuff over the next 5, 6 years. Well, finally, last year, I get to go to Gold's Gym, and I get to work out with you, and I'm going to test your fake weights, right?
Exactly.
And those weights weren't fake. You held right in there with me. We were doing inclines, and you were doing sets, I think, of 3 with 405, and I was just doing 5s. But I outweighed you by 50 pounds, and you were already getting leaner. And I was like, this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. You've stayed lean almost your whole career, and your strength is impeccable, and you just smoked my ass on reps. You know? And I'm a bencher. So it's just impressive.
Thanks, brother. Thank you, man.
To see all that, you know. So give us some background. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Washington, Kirkland, Washington. So Costco, Bill Gates, Michael Hearn. Yep. Not in that order. Washington State boy. Started young. Things that I just found out today. My first powerlifting meet was at 13 years old.
Yep, same as me.
Same as you. I graduated high school at 272 pounds.
Same as me.
So that kind of stuff is cool, man. It's
insane.
We started young. We started doing this. You know, honestly, I'm the same weight I was when I was in high school. So one of those things is I'm not as strong as you. I'm not the strongest guy in the world. I'm not the most ripped bodybuilder in the world. But I am, I think today, the most consistent.
Yeah.
In 35 years, I've been able to squat over 600 pounds for 35 years straight.
Mm-hmm. And what I like about you is consistency. When I think Mike O'Hearn, I think consistency. You're consistently lean. You're consistently strong. You're consistently working your ass off, and you're consistently never hurt. That is the 4 big things when I think of Mike O'Hearn. That's what I think of, and I think you personally don't get enough credit for it.
Oh, well,
you know?
Hey, you know what? It's one of those things. It's when people like you or Ed Cohen or Stan Everton or anybody like that at such an elite level, even MMA fighters like Josh Barnett and Rumble Johnson talk about me, and they say things like that. I'm okay with the most elite people in the world saying that kind of stuff, even though it's not the millions.
Because you know what? Being the best in the world at one thing lasts about this long unless you're Ed Cohen. Right?
Yeah.
You can be the best bodybuilder in the world, and you know there's kids that are going to go to the Arnold Classic right now that don't know who Ronnie Coleman is.
Yeah.
It's that fast. And what I think when I think of you is consistency of hard work and all the other things that we mentioned. So tell us a little bit about how do you stay injury free? I talk a lot about it with powerlifting, but how do you do what you do?
There's a couple different things. I never wanted. Obviously, I'm a connective tissue guy. I believe in connective tissue over anything else. I believe in bone density over anything else. Like you, we were strong kids. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to bodybuild. And I was competing by 13, 14 years old in bodybuilding shows too. But by the time I was 20, still injury-free and all that, I was starting to shoot cover stories for Muscle and Fitness. Mm-hmm. And the one thing, Joe Weider, which means more to me, Joe Weider and Robert Kennedy both put me on their 12 greatest bodies of all time.
Awesome.
And I'm like, holy shnikes. And he said, I was at a photo shoot, and Joe Weider goes, and at this photo shoot with some other pros, that some guys who were just placed in the top 5 at the Olympia. Yeah. And he said to me, don't change. Yeah. Perfect how you are.
Right.
And I was already stronger than all the bodybuilders, you know, at 20 years old when I first came to California. So, you know, I'm coming from a powerlifting gym and competing at nationals in powerlifting, and so I was still bodybuilding too, and then I come there, and so I'm stronger, so I didn't need to worry about the strength. Yeah. And then he said, don't worry about changing your body. So I was lucky enough, not knowing what I was doing, I was making the connective tissue so much stronger than the muscle. And a majority of people get injured because the muscle becomes too strong for the connective tissue.
You chose go before show.
Yeah.
And that was a huge benefit for you. The other thing I like about your situation is that your longevity. You know, I think what I saw a lot of people ask when I showed I was going to have you on this thing was, how do you stay motivated? Because, I mean, I think there's times when we all get up and go, son of a bitch, we got to go to the gym. There's at least one of those times or a couple of times a year, and I think people fall into a rut. But me and you have never done that because I think one of the things that kept us from doing that is we started so young. It's our life. It's a lifestyle. So tell me how you feel about that.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie called Wild Guns, and it says in there, you guys are all going to fail. Why are we going to fail? Why are we going to fail? Because you don't test yourself every freaking day. And I love that. And you and me started this young. I started martial arts really young because I was getting my ass kicked, not just by my older brothers, but my older sisters were also in the martial arts. So they're drop kicking me. So at a young age, I was raised in this house of powerlifters, bodybuilders, martial artists, and I was tested every single day. And at that age, again, if you do it every single day, it becomes
habit.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that's never gone away.
Yeah.
And I love the fight. And I realized as I got older and older, I love the fight more than the powerlifting meet, more than the cover story or the bodybuilding show. Like gladiators, doing that through my 20s, 30s, and 40s, the greatest thing in the world was it was not knowing that I was going out there to fight one guy. It was that I had to fight 9 guys a day. And I'm like, I'm up for this.
Speaking of, as a fan, what was more fun, hitting somebody with that gigantic Q-tip or shooting like the projectiles at them?
Well, it's funny that, man, the gun was usually given to somebody that wasn't athletic as the others. So I never got on that.
Nice.
But here's the answer to the question. Joust was fun, but it was always too quick for me because I'd never lost. And I just beat the Powerball was fun. Powerball was fun because it's football without pads. And man, you could get in these guys and just set them up. And just taking somebody's head, anything like that. Or breakthrough and conquer. Anytime you can grab a man and manipulate him and throw him around is always a gladiator mentality of fun. But I'll tell you this though, the biggest difference and what was the most fun was living in the moment of being able to do it relative to being I did it so young. I got it when I was 22 years old. The original, where I was Thor. That went by so fast, and it was so nerve-wracking, and it was so not fun. It wasn't, because it was like I gotta win, I gotta do this, I gotta go. It's the next show. What's next? And I did that in competitions, in powerlifting meets, in bodybuilding. It didn't matter what I did. Cover of romance books. Great, I'm flying to New York. Okay, I'm in the photo shoot with these beautiful women, 5 women in a day. But then I'm already thinking about, okay, next week, what do I got to do? And it's like, it went too quick. When I got Gladiators the second time, that was fun. I slowed everything down.
Actually, watching the old reruns and watching the newer ones, you could see yourself be more relaxed. Like not athletically relaxed, but you could see that mental.
No, it was more relaxed.
You were pumped to do it, but it wasn't like stressful for you.
Yeah, the second time around, I was smiling, and it was the. And you should always. I mean, a 20-year-old. If you're a 40-year-old and you still think like you were when you're 20, you wasted your life. And when I got it again, or even Battle Dome, when I got these other shows, and I was living in the moment, and I was coming out going, all right, I get to do this. It's and I get to enjoy this. Win, lose, or draw. I get to fight these guys and do it and have fun with it. Only spandex is a bad thing. I'm not a spandex guy, man, but you got to take the good with the bad.
See, my $1 million idea is they need to have a chain of American Gladiator. You know how they have like laser tag and all that stuff?
Yeah.
We need to have a chain of those. You can go and just beat the crap out of your friend.
Are you guys ready for this though? Gladiators is coming back.
No shit.
Gladiators is coming back.
Dude, that's gonna be brutal. They already contacted you, possibly.
I don't know. I don't know.
You gotta be.
I know nothing. Stop nodding. I know nothing.
Awesome.
Gladiators is coming back.
So give me an example of, like we had talked about this earlier off camera, but who is one of the most impressive people you have ever met as far as strength is concerned in your realm?
Wow.
If you're a West Coast guy, I got my guys here, but who is some guy that you walk in the gym and go, holy fuck, this dude is berserker?
Wow. Man, there's some bodybuilders that come in that just have power. And this is what I hate when people go, you're strong for a bodybuilder. I'm strong for a power lifter.
Yeah, you are.
It's 35 years I've been able to do these numbers, and I'm more happy that I could do it for 35 years, where there's guys that try to get to those numbers just once in their lifetime for one meet. And you know me.
Yeah.
I'm this strong every day.
You are.
I don't try to cycle up in strength and do a meet.
I honestly, personally, and like I said, I haven't been around a lot of bodybuilders or whatever you want to call it, but I have personally never seen somebody stay as lean as you are and stay that strong. Never seen it.
Yeah,
and maybe it's happened.
You
before,
can understand it, but it's that whole blunt force trauma that it just continues to build and build in my nervous system. But there's some strong guys out there. But there's no Ronnie Coleman
was a freak.
Ronnie was second level because just the way he played with weights, and he still lifted them. As he got bigger and bigger, you'll notice he lifted them more and more like a bodybuilder relative to his powerlifting years.
Right.
You know structure. When you're powerlifting, you sit the ass back and you sit into it and boom, boom. He started getting so freaking strong. He just started bodybuilding squat 815 and high necks, close stance. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Do you think there was anything that he could have done differently, or it's just genetic that his body wore out? Like now he's getting a lot of hips and knees. Because I always get the question with me, like, man, how are your knees and hips going to be when you're 55? You know, you're close to 50.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk around perfect. You and Stan walk around great.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what did you do different, than what those guys did? Do you think some of that's genetic, or do you think he would have had a?
I think I did less reps than most. I think there was a lot of. I slow down things, and I've really slowed down movements, and I find a real enjoyment out of knowing that I can take 500 down into the hole and sit there and then flex out of it instead of bouncing out of it. Right. Yeah. And I love being able to take a squat and change locations of where it's working as I'm descending and then push it. And it's fun for me.
A skilled guy like me, when I watch you do stuff, I can see you doing that.
See,
but other people,
you're an expert.
When they see it, they don't know what you're doing.
He's just going slow. I don't get what he's doing there.
I know what you're doing. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and that's kept me healthy, and that's kept the joints healthy, and it's kept the body. And again, your body it adapts to the pressure it's put under.
Yeah.
I've never gone away from it.
Yeah. So I know you've flown in, and we want to speed this up. But what are some advice you can give to beginners? So let's say there's a 13-year-old just like me in the car,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're sitting down listening to this shit. What do you have to say to that kid that was us when we were 13?
Slow down.
Yep.
I think honestly, I would talk to myself, and I would say a couple things. I'd say slow down. You don't need to do everything in the first day. Less is more. Yep. Smarter instead of harder.
Yep.
And make it count when you're in it. If you're doing speed work, it's still the connective and what you're doing and pushing it out, instead of just, when I was a kid, I don't care. I'm deadlifting it from the ground to the hip, regardless of how it looks.
Yep.
And I wish I changed a lot of that. Yeah, I wish I stayed with it.
My big saying is, it's not what you can do, it's what you can recover from.
It's great.
Right.
That's great. You can only train as hard as well as you recover.
Yeah.
That's it. And I wish I could say that. And I'd say wear sunblock. I would say slow down. I would say
and I think
diet.
And I think what got you where you were is having that. I ran into kids, even in the ADFPA when I was 13, 14, that stone cold kicked my ass. Way stronger than me, more genetically gifted. I outlasted them. And that's how I got where I was. At 24, there were 10 guys better than me in the world. At 26, there were 6. At 27, there were 3. At 28, there were 0. And I held that as long as I could, and then switched to raw and did it all over again.
Yep.
But the point is that there were always guys that were immediately better than me. I just knew I had to outlast everybody, and I think your career has been some of the same direction.
I'm still that 14-year-old going, I grew up with dyslexia in special classes. And so the one thing I said is I had to read everything 3 to 4 to 5 times compared to a kid reading it once. And I put that with everything I do.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I had with me too, is I had probably some mild form of ADD coming through.
No, you still do.
And I still do.
Yeah, you still do.
But once I got into college and started studying exercise science, and then they finally let me into the biomechanics master's program,
and then
I was studying things I liked, and I was training hard, so I was cooling that erratic energy off. I was able to learn. And that's what weights really gave me the most of, was not only the self-confidence, but the ability to slow down and let things absorb. And realize that if I wanted that 600-pound raw bench, I was going to have to take 15 years to get there because I wasn't going to get it out of the gate.
You'll fight every day to be a champion, but understand it takes time. And that's the key point.
Going back to that teenager you were talking about, Matt, that wants to learn how to do this. Are there good ways and bad ways to go about learning? With the amount of information out there.
Here's the thing with today. Instead of asking is the first thing. I think today social media is ask first. I see you do something. I'm going to ask you. Stop. Go study it. Go attempt something. Obviously, you want to be watching people that are, have done something in a sense. So I'm watching you. I'll watch you squat. I don't understand. I'll go tempt it, and then come back and see how it is. Because I noticed today
that's value.
I grew up around 5 guys that I thought were average Joes, everybody's mom and dad, everybody's this strong. So I grew up with a beautiful ignorant bliss because I thought Doyle Kennedy, Doug Furness, Jeff Magruder were just the average lifters. I didn't know these are the strongest guys in the freaking world.
Yeah.
And I'm at 13, 14 going, I can do this and I'll look better than you, which is a beautiful thing because there's no ceiling.
Yeah, not nearly the level, but in a small town in Indiana where I grew up, the guy that taught me to bench was a 500-pound bencher at 185 pounds body weight.
Jeez Louise.
And a 722-pound deadlifter in 1972. So these 2 guys that taught me to lift were legends in their own area and their own time. And I
That's
immediately
something.
saw that and said, I could do that at 13.
How old? You're 13. Okay, so this is definitely now there's more of us in common. There's something about growing up at that age where you see something that's you go, okay, this is average Joe, not knowing it's elite. And then believing that, because here's the thing. I've been able to stay consistent longer than most that we know of. I was just doing Generation Iron, and they were saying, Sean Ray and I both got on stage in 1983, and there's nobody still getting on stage except for me. And regardless of what you think about life and how you train and stuff like that, I'm the same size I was in high school. It's about what you believe.
Yeah.
I don't care if you believe this or that, but I would rather you believe that's possible. Being there in that age and you seeing him bench that and deadlift that and understanding that, and then me seeing these guys, Doyle Kennedy deadlifting 900 and going, I can do this without the beard. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just, you guys don't even know. I don't know if your fans know these names, but look them up, man. This is, Jeff McGrew was the first guy at 242 to bench 605.
Doug Furness was one of the
Doug Furness.
Was probably one of the best built powerlifters.
His legs, 36 inches, and I'm sitting there going, I want legs like that. And then, just growing up with that, it was our ability to believe this is possible. Compared to the guy that's at the local gym seeing 315 on the squat, and he goes, well, that's the strongest guy in the gym. That's good weight. Your ceiling's already set, and I believe Bruce Lee is right. There's no ceilings. We were set up to win.
And
at 13.
Desensitized to what other people thought were impossible.
You like that? I like ignorance and bliss. It's a beautiful child believing that Santa Claus is real. And I stayed true to that and go, as we got older, okay, maybe I won't deadlift 900, but I'll do something so badass. And I got to 775 for 3. And then I competed 2 months later in a bodybuilding show. So for me, that was my 900.
And I think guys like in my position, which are far and few between, but guys in my position look at a guy like you and realize, okay, maybe I'm this much stronger than you at certain things, but now that I'm working on getting leaner and you're helping me with my diet and I'm throwing ideas back and forth to learn my own path on that, I'm starting to realize your success in being able to do both is so extreme. And that's where I think people don't understand is you and Stan are the 2 most disciplined people in my circle of friends as far as what you eat, when you train. What time do you train over at Gold's? Because I know 4:30. Luckily, at Ohio time, it was 7:30. So I was sleeping.
Right.
But it was. I mean, that's when I was just like, man, this guy is the real deal. And we lifted together, and I was like, you hung with everything.
Thanks, brother. Thank you, man.
And I'm telling you, that was a big eye opener for me because I feel like I trained my ass off, and I was always the underdog and pushing things up and coming from car accidents and things like that. And that's why I wanted to get you on this because
I love it, man. No, I'm glad we did this. Glad we got to train, but we'll be doing this more.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just love the similarities and we didn't I didn't know that you started at 13 and you grew up with the same kind of growth I did and people around you. It's the coolest thing. Now I can verify this because you are a world record holder. You grew up the same way I did. There is a beautifulness to growing up young and believing this is possible. And I guess my whole thing about social media and stuff and what I try to put out there, and I'm going to say this honestly, I'm not one of these guys that's out there trying to go, hey, let's be positive and let's do this. Most of the stuff I do is for myself in the sense of just trying to get up every day and fight for it and live the dream. And if that influences people, then that's great.
Yeah.
If it irritates you, hey, I understand.
Yeah.
But the possibilities and beliefs in making your dreams come true is it's a beautiful
Well, I
thing.
think you have more of an outreach than even your Instagram followers and stuff show. Because if you're touching guys like me that are super hardcore and we're teaching other people how to do things at a positive level, that's really what it's all about. I think that's what we stand for. That's what you stand for on the West Coast. That's what we're standing for here in Ohio. And I think that's why we've had such a good connection.
Yeah.
You know,
A bromance from the start.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
A lot of touching.
A lot of
Yeah, a lot of
touching.
touching.
There's nothing wrong.
And I remember
Skin's
I'm
skin.
throwing this out there, the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I came back and used this line that you taught me for like the whole year. And we were hanging out, and your girlfriend had a bunch of cronies working out with you, and one of those girls were like Bulgaria or something. I asked you, I said, "Who is that girl?" And you go, "Yeah, she's all right if you're into chicks." And you said it with no smile and walked away from me. It was the coolest. I thought about that the entire of the Pacific Coast Highway. I couldn't even focus.
I don't know
on
if
the
you guys
other
got that, but that's just, maybe you had to be there. I don't know.
You know, but I'm going up the Pacific Coast Highway, literally about to fall off my motorcycle because I'm laughing so hard every 20 minutes. I'm just after into chicks.
I had to throw that in
go
there.
get some rest, man.
All right.
And
Much
we'll
love.
see you at the Arnold. Go see you at the Arnold. What booth are you at?
621, we are at Stryker, me, and Mona will be at the Protein Water.
And where can we find you at online?
You can find me at Mike O'Hearn on anything.
Yeah.
From Instagram to Twitter to Facebook.
Or 4:30 in the morning at Gold.
Or 4:30.
If you
Yeah.
got the balls.
And if you guys ever want to train with me, come Gold's Gym, 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's the
Jump
real
in.
deal. It's a real deal. Pack a lunch.
I love it.
We'll see you later.
Peace out.